Giles Coren, it is 5 minutes with you at home.
At my home, Johnny.
At your home, yes.
Here we are.
I might invite you to my home in the future.
I won't necessarily come.
Right, I'm going to ask you to count us down.
Okay.
This is a shoeless interview, by the way. We are in our socks.
Yep.
I don't know whether the camera can pan down at this point.
Yep.
Quite bohemian?
Because my road in North London is besmirched with things I don't want trodden into my study carpet, which is why we're doing this.
You did let me wear my shoes if I'd wanted to.
Yeah, if you'd wanted to, that would have been fine.
Please will you count us down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 when the battery's in. Here we go.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go!
What are you really like as a person? Because I'm sure people have all sorts of different perceptions of who you are.
I'm nicer than people expect. Some people think it's better to go through the world being really, really nice, and then when you get angry, it's more effective. I go the other way, and I comport myself in a very angry and awful and unpleasant way quite a lot of the time. And then when people meet me, they think, oh, he's all right.
This anger thing, is it a self-constructed brand?
You'd have to ask my psychoanalyst, who I've been seeing for 5 years, 4 times a week. It would be quite expensive if I were making it all up.
What is anger management?
In my case, it's a collection of articles written by a person who the world perceives as somebody angry. As a course of therapy, I had no idea. I thought about having anger management courses once because I'd broken so many knuckles in my hands punching walls, not people, that I thought I needed help. In the end, I went for full-on psychoanalysis, full-on dismantling of the personality.
Do you get angry about lots of different things?
Yes. All sorts of things. I mean, I get angry I'm angered by antisocial behaviour, dogs fouling the footway. I'm angered by my wife failing to understand me. I'm annoyed by cold food. I'm annoyed by brightly coloured shoes. I mean, and then there's other stuff that doesn't anger me.
To be fair to your wife, it might be your fault that she doesn't understand you sometimes.
You want to fight?
Do you care what...
Well, no, I mean, maybe I speak perfectly clearly. I speak the Queen's English. I don't use too many adjectives. No, yeah, people failing to understand what I'm saying has led to some problems in my life with women and news editors.
Do you care what other people think about you?
Yes, desperately.
How edited are your articles for the Times?
A lot by me and not by anybody else.
Not at all.
What, edited? You mean you think I write something and send it in and then they change it slightly?
Are they allowed to change it at all?
Why would they? Why would you change something I wrote? Why would they pay me all that money and then have some down-desk schlub changing the words that I've written? Yes, look, I mean, if I wrote too long, they'd cut it down, but I never do. I had a bit of problems with the sub-editor once before. I wrote an email that I slightly regret, which went a bit viral on the internet and the world saw it. And now they never, ever change a thing.
There are no sub-editors to defend themselves, so we're just going to have to crack on with this interview now.
Well, that's fine.
How long?
You want to invite a sub-editor into my house? They're fine. They're good people. There are very few of them left.
How long does it take you typically to write one of your columns? Not a food column.
One of my columns, if I am sober, not hungover, happy, and in a good place in my life, well, I'm trying to imagine if there's ever been a time when that was the case, then 2 hours.
Do you have the perfect life?
No.
An easy life?
The externals of my life are easy, yes. It looks easy from the outside.
How would you describe your world view?
That it would be...
That's prefaced by a sigh. Come on, we're talking about the world here.
The world, the world looks disastrous to me, and the fact that I have to get up every morning and try and write something funny about it is what makes it interesting.
Is it a pressure or a pleasure having to write something different each week?
I don't have to. I can write most columns, write the same thing week after week after week after week, and I could do that if I wanted, but I wouldn't get much pleasure from it. So it's not a pleasure in the anticipation. It's the opposite of sex, actually. I don't look forward to doing it. I don't much enjoy it when it's happening, but when it's done, I'm very happy.
We'll leave that particular point there. Do you read lots of other people's columns?
No, I think columns are a waste of time.
How many books do you read a week?
A week? 7 or 8. How many books do I read a week? Probably 2. Can
we talk a little bit about food, please?
No.
Well, I'm going to ask you a question.
Of course we can talk about food. I absolutely, you must always ask me about food. It's a thing I know nothing about, so I'm good at...
As a rather well-known food critic, does it matter that people might recognise you when you go into a new restaurant?
Does it matter? No, it doesn't. Not at all. For what purposes? There are one or two restaurant critics who are unknown, and they travel around in disguise, and they sit in the corner of them with a paper bag on their head, pretending to be a lamp, and they can wear smelly old clothes and rummage in there to change to pay the bills, and that they find out what it's like to eat as a tramp. I'm not interested in that.
Do you still get excited by eating out?
No.
Can you cook?
Yes.
How well?
I give myself about 7 out of 10, but the service is great.
Do you like olives? Do you eat olives in restaurants?
I like olives, I eat them in restaurants, but I don't eat them at home.
A favourite meal? Quick.
In the world?
Yeah.
Cheeseburger.
That was admirably short answer, and it meant that we finished bang on time.
That was never 5 minutes.
It was 5 minutes. We didn't fit in... Well, we fit in quite a lot.
Yes, I suppose.
I'd just like to point out to the audience that we almost became confrontational with each other during the interview, but in a sort of, I felt, mock way. And I've had a very enjoyable experience sitting here with you in your house.
Well, thank you. I was genuinely furious and won't be having you back.
Good to see you.
Yes, thank you for coming.